Hello everyone, I hope you're having a good day. There has been lots of new tech discovered in the game recently, or old tricks that have come to the surface or have been forgotten about. So I thought I'd make a series on here showcasing different tech and different tricks you can do on Siege, and this is for all ranks. You can use this from Copper all the way up until Champ. Bear in mind that I play in Champion lobbies. I've been Champ multiple times. I was a high level in Ranked 1.0 as well. So these work for me in the lobbies that I play in. So if they work for me in Champ, they will genuinely work in all lobbies. I post multiple times a week, but I aim to post at least one of these tips and tricks videos every single week. So if you do want to learn some tricks that you might not have ever seen before, even if you are a year one player, be sure to hit the subscribe button, as we are definitely trying to grow the channel at the moment. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get into some new tech and some tricks that you may have forgotten about that works in Siege. The first tip/trick we're going with is with Nomad. You can actually make Nomad's air jab silent in multiple situations. All you need to do is shoot a soft wall, shoot the first half out, then put one bullet into the part that remains and put your air jab directly in that bullet hole. That air jab will now be silent from the other side, but it will still send the defenders flying. Listen to the sound of this air jab. As you can see in both situations there, the air jab was completely silent, but it still sent me back when I was a defender. Now this is a really great way to do flank watch if you have control of the place where you want to put it. Now this won't work on every single map, but you can also do it on the vertical as well. Now this doesn't work on every single map, like I said. For me, the ones it's most effective on is Coastline and Clubhouse. Coastline for the vertical and Clubhouse for the wall play. However, what I would recommend is, after watching this, if you want to try this, definitely try it in either a quick match, a standard, or a custom game, as although it's pretty easy to do, you do have to kind of get it right, if that makes sense. You have to get used to making sure that the air jab is directly in the bullet hole that you've made, and you also need to make sure that you know exactly where the vertical play is that you're wanting to do, as sometimes I see people try to do this and they actually get it underneath the bomb chassis or where they've planted the diffuser. You don't want to put the air jab where you've planted the diffuser, you want to put the air jab next to where you plant the diffuser. If not, the diffuser will actually block off the air jab and they won't get propelled back. But this is a super strong trick, especially on maps like Coastline. If you get hookah control and pink control bottom floor, if you then do the vertical either side of where the default plant is in hookah, it means either way, whichever way they try to go to get the diffuse off, they will get propelled back, and that will guarantee you A, more time, but also B, probably the elimination, because they're going to be so disorientated on what's happened because they haven't heard that air jab. They might go around a different way and get air jabbed again. So that was trick number one that I definitely recommend across all lobbies. The next one is a new tech with Kapkan. There is now a new Kapkan peek that you can do in the game. Quick peeking is essentially back, but only with Kapkan. Now this was initially discovered by Catania, so full credit to Catania for finding this, and this is honestly wild. This new Kapkan quick peek is when you go to put in Kapkan trap on the door and you cancel it and then you pre-fire, it shoots you across the doorway. It's basically because you go into the animation to put the Kapkan trap down and it forces you in the middle of the doorway very quickly, even if you cancel the animation. So what you can do is, if you know somebody is at the end of a corridor, for example, you can go to put a Kapkan trap down, stop it, then pre-fire where they are, and they will not have time to react because you fly into the middle of their screen. Now, Catania managed to get a clip of this live in a game. I tried it in a custom 1v1 and it worked for me too, but Catania got it in an actual game. I feel like you can't fully appreciate how quick you zoom into the middle of the doorway, so the attackers will not have a chance to react because they'll be confused as to what's actually going on. I am a very slow sense player, and I'm not going to lie, it took me quite a bit of practice to be able to get it to work. But once I practiced it and understood more what I was doing, it's actually really easy to do, and I think it's going to be pretty effective. I would 100% recommend trying this, even if you just do it for fun and not like to win, for example, but just for fun. But I recommend it. And if you are really good with aiming, I can't believe I missed that drone there. If you are good at aiming, you'll find this so much easier than somebody like me. The next trick I'm going to show you is with Ace and Osa, and this is less circumstantial than the rest. If you ever want to get breach open, and imagine this is reinforced and there's bandit on it, you can put down an Osa shield, and then you can get Ace to throw a Selma charge onto the Osa shield, and it will actually still destroy part of the wall. Now, it won't get the wall open so you can go into sight, but it will get the wall open so you can shoot off the other bandits or a mute jammer, for example. And it's a very strong way to prevent bandit from bandit tricking. Now, I only ever recommend using one Selma charge for this, and I don't always recommend it if you don't have a second hard breacher too. Now, if the wall is electrified, you can actually put the Selma charge directly in the middle of the two black parts of Osa's shield. So in the central part, here, if you throw it here, it will get the wall open, but it will leave part of it soft, but the beams are destroyed. So you can simply just shoot the rest through, and this is the safest way to be able to get it open, which will save your Selma charge and it will not waste it, and guarantee to be able to still get the wall open. This works on nearly every map that I can think of, but especially things like Clubhouse and Nighthaven Labs, for example, bottom floor. And sometimes you don't always want the wall to be fully open. You just want a line of sight. So for Clubhouse, for example, this is great because it will stop people from holding the attackers from certain ways, because you can then hold their rotates. So even if Kaid is on the board there, you can still get the wall open. Sure, you can't breach or enter that way, but you can still get the wall open and have more control of the site than you previously would with that wall being completely closed. The next thing I'm going to show you is more of a warning than a trick, but there is a pillar on Nighthaven Labs that you can actually phase through and see through. The devs are very much aware of this issue, and I believe they will fix it relatively soon. However, this did cost my friend his ranked game, and then he passionately told me about it. So this is more of a warning to people that if you're going down EXO, and I'll show you a clip of it in a second, but if you're going down EXO on Nighthaven Labs, always drone it. I would expect people to drone on ranked regardless, but if you're not the type of person to drone, definitely drone if you want to push down EXO down the stairs. And if you see somebody by this pillar at the bottom of the stairs, you're going to have to throw something like a nade or Grimsby's to move them away from the pillar, because if they are in contact with the pillar, they can see through, they can see when you're at the bottom, and they know exactly when to swing you, and they already have swinger's advantage. So in that situation, you are pretty much guaranteed to die. And this is essentially what happened to my friend. He knew they were there because he droned them, but because they could see when he was pushing, they got the perfect pre-fire on him. And there's no way he could contest it because he didn't know when they were going to swing, whereas the enemy knew exactly when to swing him. So I definitely recommend, if you're playing Nighthaven Labs, absolutely drone here if you want to push down EXO. Maverick is one of the best operators in the game to burn through defender ability and utility. If there is ever a deployable shield and you don't know if it's safe to jump over and clear a frost mat, for example, Maverick can just tap his torch and completely get rid of it. The same way as he can get rid of Maestro cams, he can get rid of Banshees, he can get rid of so many things, and from a fairly far away, because his torch does have quite a big radius, range even. But a lot of people forget this with Maverick, and I definitely need to see him be utilized more, as he is not utilized enough. People use him for the wall and that's it, but actually he can do so much more. The final trick that people don't realize is that anybody can hide their footprints from Jackal. If you prone on the floor, you will not have footprints that Jackal can track. So if you're in the middle of setting up towards the end of prep phase, the time is about to run out and you're quite close to getting back to site or where you want to roam, if you just prone the rest of the way there before the attackers are in the building, Jackal will not be able to track you because you wouldn't have left any footprints behind because you already don't leave any in prep phase. So if you're nearly there, just prone the rest of the way. Some of these tricks might seem dumb or very circumstantial, and yeah, sure, some of them are circumstantial, but every single trick that I often record, I've either recorded in a real game or I know about it and share it because it's happened to me in a game. Every trick I share, I have tried and successfully got or succeeded with at least once during my time of playing Siege. Some interactions are so unique and very unlikely to happen, but they still might. So it's kind of good to know about them existing. Like when I shared the Jackal one on another platform, people were like, oh, well, I'm never going to do this. But all I do is roam. And so often when I'm about to get to site or to where I want to hide in a corner, for example, as I roam and hide in corners a lot, it's kind of like roamers do, ready to then hopefully flank on somebody, I am nearly there, and then I've ran the rest of the way there and I get Jackal tracked. So now I prone the rest of the way there if it's not too far away, and then I don't get Jackal tracked because he doesn't know I'm there. And it's great. If it's a corner which they miss drone so often, there's no sign of footprints. So it makes me not inclined to ban Jackal. Now I know this and I use it all of the time. And I've been using this now for a couple of years and it works so well. But this was essentially episode 1 of tips and tricks for every single rank. I have honestly hundreds of tips and tricks that I can share with you guys. So like I said, I'm going to make one of these every single week. So if you did like it, I would really appreciate if you subscribe. And we'll see how this whole journey goes, I guess. And now I'll just let the rest of this round play out for you. Have a fantastic day.
Disabled the bomb diffuser. Good work. Mission successful.